All right, I thought I'd bring you up to date on the Jewelweed cure for my poison ivy that I picked up a few weeks ago cutting wood around here. I just drive around. Well, I made that video I think 3 days ago. I went out in the woods and I put the stuff on right there as I was making the video. Just crunched it up, the stalks and leaves, and just rubbed it all over my hand. And the next day it was somewhat better, not much. And so I went back out in the same place and got some more, but this time I brought it home and put it in a food processor, that like a blender. Put about a quarter cup of water in with it, stalks, leaves, a little bit of water. Blended it all up into like a green, I don't know, paste, whatever, poultice, I guess it would be called. I'm gonna go this way by where I used to live. And took that out of the food processor, put it on my hand, quite a bit of it, doing it this way, and rubbed it in and just held it there for a little bit, about 3 minutes, and threw the stuff in the trash. And I didn't rinse it off. I left that green watery stuff dry on my hand. And the next day, very drastic improvement, really pretty much cleared up. And I still got a few red marks, but it's not itchy, it's dried up, it doesn't burn, it's definitely on the way out. And stuff works. I mean, I've only had poison ivy twice in my life, and the first time was like 12 years ago, and I was covered in it because I knew it was poison ivy, but I thought I wasn't allergic to it. So I was right up in it, camped out in it. It was awful. It was really bad. I got prescription medicine that didn't work, and then I don't know if I found it on the internet or somebody told me. I found it on the internet, I think. Plus, I had experience with this as a child, but not with poison ivy. We called it itchweed cure when I lived in West Virginia. So I went out and got that, and I put it in a blender with some water and slathered it all over my legs, really, and arms were hit with it hard. And it was like pretty much cured up the next day. So I just repeated that like I did 12 years ago, put it in a blender or a food processor with a little bit of water, blended it all up, stalks and limbs, and put it all over, and it works. It does work. So I share a lot of things on this channel, and I'll give you this little nature cure. I mean, if you live where there's poison ivy, poison oak, then I've been to this church, very nice church here. Dresserville Baptist, Bible Baptist Church, very nice. A lot of, you see Mennonites and go in there. Amish, some Amish go there too. I have to interject. I strive for 100% honesty on this, and this is how the people dressed, but I don't know if they were Amish or Mennonites. I really don't know who they were, but when I was in there, people that dressed this way were there, and there are Amish and Mennonites that live in my area, and this is just a stock picture off the web, but this is how they dressed, so I assume they were Amish and Mennonites because they do live all over this area. Just to be completely as honest as I possibly can be on this channel. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Yeah, if there's poison ivy where you live, then jewelweed will be there too. And never heard of anybody dying from poison ivy, but that's like a skin rash. Though I'm sure somebody has, but I've never heard of it. However, when poison ivy grows up the side of a tree, and I'll put a picture of what that looks like on here at the end of this video. I've seen that plenty of times here. I thought it was poison oak. Maybe poison oak, poison ivy are the same thing. I'll look that up, put it at the end of the video too. But when the vine, poison ivy, grows up the side of a tree, it's very distinctive, creepy looking, really. You'll see, I'll put a video right here. I'll try this. I can put it right in as I talk. So that's what it looks like. I have read that people have died from, cutting this wood up and burning it over a fire, like I do a lot. I cook over a fire just about every night that the weather's nice. And I didn't know, but I read that that's very poisonous to breathe the smoke in from this. The active ingredient in poison oak, poison ivy is called ursinol. Okay, I've got to stop here. I mispronounced that. It's called urushiol. And that's how it's spelled. So I'm just fact-checking myself as I go along here. Thanks for your understanding. And the stuff that's in Jewelweed will deactivate it on contact. And if you breathe in smoke with ursinol in it, I've read it has killed people. Not common, but it does happen enough. I read that a lot of people don't know this. Well, now I know, now you know. If you burn wood for whatever, stay away from this stuff. Don't burn it. Not with this thing on it. I used to live on this road. This is where Jen and I lived, where the trailer haunted. The road was haunted, the trees were haunted, the woods were haunted. I wonder if the other people around here experience that stuff. I talked to one person that lived on this road and they said yes. I told them about the road being haunted. Right here's where the angry man in the woods was, right in there. Because I lived right over. He would have been right, actually, in there. Because I used to live in that lot. And those people, family there, they probably, I bet they're not having any problems at all. It just seems like I activate things. Like if I live somewhere where there's spirits, and there's spirits all over the place. I seem to get their attention or activate them. This hill here is where myself and another person saw a white figure in the road, a cloudy white figure of a person. I seen her walk across the road quite clearly, and then they came out of that tree there, right up to my car window. And I'm not making this up. I call it the ghost, the Indian, looked like an Indian woman in a tree. And she came out of the top of that tree, and I stopped the car, looking at it, broad daylight like this, and she came right up to my car window and staring right in. I wish I'd had the presence of mind to take her picture. But one, because my cell phone was right next to me on the seat. One, I was shocked. I was really shocked. Usually these things don't shock me, but that one did. And I was really shocked, and I was staring at her wide-eyed, and she was staring in at me wide-eyed just outside my car window. And I was really shocked. And I don't know how she would have reacted if I would have taken her picture. That one was kind of startling. In fact, forget kind of, it was startling. I was shook up for a little bit. Called my mom, told her about it, called Amy, who had seen a spirit on that area with me several times. But when we saw her, she just looked like just a white human-shaped figure in the road. And one time I saw it quite clearly, arms and legs, and walking across the road. But this time I saw her right up close, saw her face. Yeah, that was wild. Looked like an Indian woman, but dressed in white rags. that were just floating. And she had a really thick head of jet black hair, a lot of hair, but it was floating all around her, like if she was floating in the water on her back, and her hair might be floating around her. That's how it looked. And her eyes were wide open. She had, she looked like an Indian. She had black eyes, kind of dark brown, and a very coppery kind of complexion, coppery brown complexion. And I heard that the Indians buried their dead on that hillside from somebody who lives around here, and their family goes back. And this person didn't know anything about this story at all. And he told me that his grandfather told him that the Indians used to bury their dead there in that area. And then I told him this story, and he was not surprised, but he thought it was pretty cool. All right, so that's that. I wanted to go down that road. So yeah, itchweed cure, jewelweed. If you or someone you know gets hit with poison ivy, it will make you pretty miserable for a while. And enough to keep you from sleeping sometimes. Go out and find this stuff. Whether it's got flowers on it or not, it doesn't matter. It grows by streams, sometimes along ditches. Google it, I'll put pictures up. Pull some of this up, take it home, put it in a blender, or do however you do it. This is what I did, and this is how it works. I made a poultice out of it, kind of like a paste. And I just blended it all up, leaves and stalks. The first time I did this 12 years ago, flowers too. But I've read that the active ingredient is in the leaves and the stalks, but the flowers won't bother you either if they're on it. And just hold it to the area, cover the area in it, let it set for 5-10 minutes, and 5 minutes anyway. That's what I did, 3 to 5 minutes. That's it. Don't rinse it off. It's not uncomfortable. The area might get kind of red. It'll get more irritated like for an hour or two, but the next day when you wake up, it's going to be all but cured, all but gone like magic. It really works great. So there, I shared a nature remedy with you and a ghost story. So, take care. God bless each of you. Okay, poison oak and poison ivy are not the same plant. You see here a picture of poison oak. It's also a vine that grows on the ground and can grow up the side of a tree. Note it also has 3 leaves. And it has the same compound that will cause the same problems, just like poison ivy. All right, this is what poison ivy looks like, a vine. You see something like this growing up the side of a tree, that's a poison ivy vine. And the leaves, they've got 3 leaves, it's poison ivy. So when I see these, I usually make a note to not handle it, but I might give it a good whack with a machete or a big knife just to sever it. Another one, poison ivy. I've seen those quite often. I never was sure what they were. There's different vines that climb trees, like grapevines, but now I know that's poison ivy vine. And there's poison ivy vine with the 3 leaves climbing up a tree, with leaves on it that are visible. So 3 leaves. That's a telltale thing. You see the vine with 3 leaves. Because there's a Virginia creeper that has 5 leaves. And there's nothing wrong with the Virginia creeper here on the right. That is not poisonous. It's got 5 leaves. Leaves of 5, let them thrive. Leaves of 3, let them be. So, know the difference. And here's a picture where you've got both vines on one tree. On the left, quiz here. What is that? That's Virginia creeper. How do you know? It has 5 leaves. And on the right, well, that's poison ivy because it has 3 leaves. Okay, take care. And here's a couple pictures of the cure for the poison ivy, poison oak, and that would be the jewelweed again. Good stuff to know. Hopefully, you know, I read that only 1 in 2 people are allergic to the stuff, so there you go. Take care and God bless. Yeah.